5. Scream for your followers.
What? Who are you?
The end. Scream or bleed.
Please don't! I'll do anything!
Scream now! Ah!
In a world where millions watch your every move, identity becomes a performance, and performance becomes a prison. Creators burn out, celebrities break down, and the internet watches it all like a never-ending show. But what happens when someone refuses to stay inside the role the world wrote for them? What happens when a creator breaks the script and writes a new one? Cenat has lived that question in real time, from burnout to backlash, from reinvention to reinvention again, and now into the chaotic, trauma-coded universe of Scary Movie 6, a franchise built on fear, absurdity, and the art of laughing through the things that terrify us. This isn't just a career pivot, it's a psychological one, and tonight, we're going to explore why. The Scary Movie franchise, beginning in 2000, is often remembered for its outrageous humor, but beneath the slapstick lies a surprisingly sophisticated psychological structure. The series parodies trauma-coded horror films like Scream, The Ring, Saw, and The Exorcist, exposing the emotional mechanics of fear. Horror is built on anticipation, helplessness, and the loss of control. Comedy is built on release, absurdity, and reclaiming control. When combined, horror comedy becomes a coping mechanism, a way to confront trauma by exaggerating it until it becomes laughable. This is why the franchise resonates so deeply. It mirrors the emotional journey survivors experience: fear, overwhelm, absurdity, release. The films take the things that terrify us and turn them into something we can laugh at. They transform powerlessness into parody. They turn the monster into a punchline, and in doing so, they offer a form of emotional alchemy, a way to survive fear by reframing it. Cenat's role in Scary Movie 6 fits perfectly into this lineage. His public burnout, his transparency about pressure, and his pivot into a genre that turns fear into humor create a symbolic arc of survival. Horror comedy becomes the perfect metaphor for reinvention, acknowledging fear, exaggerating it, and reclaiming power through laughter. Cenat's casting is not just a cultural moment, it is a psychological one. In the digital age, creators and streamers live under a level of scrutiny that mirrors, and often exceeds, the pressures placed on traditional celebrities. Cenat's journey is one of the clearest examples of how public expectations, parasocial pressure, and the emotional cost of constant performance can push a creator into burnout. Between 2023 and 2024, Cenat faced intense backlash during his content pivots, a cycle widely reported across mainstream outlets. On stream, he addressed the emotional weight of this pressure, saying, "People don't let you grow. They want you to stay the same forever." His words captured the psychological reality many survivors of emotional and narcissistic abuse know intimately, the feeling of being trapped inside an identity someone else built for you. But Cenat's story didn't end with burnout. It evolved. His officially reported role in Scary Movie 6 marks a symbolic shift, not just a career pivot, but a psychological one. The Scary Movie franchise has always been more than slapstick parody. Since its debut in 2000, the series has blended horror and comedy to expose the absurdity of fear, trauma, and cultural panic. By parodying films like Scream, The Ring, Saw, and The Exorcist, the franchise turns terror into laughter, transforming trauma into something survivable. Horror is about fear. Comedy is about relief. Horror comedy is about surviving fear through laughter. And Cenat stepping into this world mirrors the emotional arc he has already lived publicly. Creators like PewDiePie, Lily Singh, Jacksepticeye, and Pokimane have all spoken openly in interviews about burnout, identity collapse, harassment, and the psychological toll of being owned by the internet. In a 2022 interview, Pokimane said, "The internet feels like it owns you." This is the emotional architecture of coercive control, the same dynamic survivors experience in abusive environments. When Cenat moves from streaming burnout into a horror comedy franchise, it becomes a narrative of reclaiming autonomy. He is stepping into a genre that acknowledges fear, exaggerates it, mocks it, and ultimately defangs it. This is why his role in Scary Movie 6 is more than a casting announcement. It is a symbolic arc of survival, a movement from pressure to parody, from burnout to reinvention, from being overwhelmed by the demand to perform, to stepping into a genre that transforms fear into something you can laugh at. Cenat's pivot becomes a bridge between creator culture, trauma-informed storytelling, and the emotional truth that reinvention is often a survival instinct. And as we explore the psychology of horror comedy, we begin to see how creators, celebrities, and survivors all navigate the same emotional terrain: fear, pressure, identity, and the courage to evolve. In the end, Cenat's story isn't just about burnout, backlash, or even a surprise role in a horror comedy franchise. It's about the quiet, often invisible battle to reclaim your identity in a world that demands you perform it. His pivot into Scary Movie 6 becomes a symbol of something deeper. The moment when fear becomes parody, pressure becomes reinvented, and survival becomes art. It's a reminder that even in the loudest corners of the internet, growth can be a private act of courage. And sometimes the most powerful thing a creator can do is step into a new role, a new genre, a new version of themselves, and say, I get to decide who I am now. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever felt the weight of expectations, the pressure to stay the same, or the fear of evolving in front of others, you're not alone. These are human experiences, not internet failures. And here, we explore them with honesty, nuance, and compassion. So, if you want to keep diving into the psychology behind creator culture, horror comedy, and the emotional arcs that shape the people we watch online, stay with me. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and step into the next chapter with us. Because the story doesn't end here, it only gets deeper from this point forward. Until next time, happy screams and hilarious dreams.
What's scarier than Scary Movie? Scary Movie 6. There's a Scary Movie 6? Oh yeah, it's terrifying! Ah!